Lights up, cameras ready. We're live in 3, 2, 1. Tonight, your event gets its own AI studio. Powered by Pictor.pro. Oh, step up to the frame. Your moment, you show your glow, your name. We're turning every click into a story they'll know. With Pictor.pro. You walk in, room starts humming, brand lights up, that future's coming. Booth in the corner, crowd in a line, AI magic, one tap at a time. Photos, gifs, boomerangs in flight, video dreams in neon light. Every angle, every vibe you throw, we catch it, cut it, make it glow. From the floor to the cloud in a heartbeat, share that link, let it fly to the whole street. Branded memories the world can see, we're the engine for your creativity. When I say piss, you say tar, tar, tar. When I say Pictor, you say pro, pro, pro. Pictor, Pictor, AI magic at your show. Let's go. Snap it, share it, steal the scene. Pictor.pro, we power your dream. Hey, 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 hey. Pictor, Pictor, turn your moments into gold. Let's go. Every frame a story you own. Pictor.pro, bring the future home. Corporate stage or a late night wedding, trade show buzz or rooftop setting. We plug and spin up live in seconds, 10 seconds set up. Crowd gets mentioned, custom frames with your logo tight. Colors locked to your brand's best light. Hashtags ready, gallery in tow. Your event lives on with Pictor.pro. No code, just click and play. One dashboard running the whole display. From booth to gallery, watch it flow. AI at work while you run the show. When I say AI, you say boo, boo, boo. When I say next, you say Jen, Jen, Jen. Woo! Pictor, Pictor, AI magic at your show. Let's go. Snap it, share it, steal the scene. Pictor.pro, we power your dream. Hey, 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 hey. Pictor, Pictor, turn your moments into gold. Let's go. Every frame a story you own. Pictor.pro, bring the future home. Pose for the frame. Clap, clap. Everybody say your name. Clap, clap. Brand on the screen. Clap, clap. This is more than a scene. Photos, gifs, boomerangs, video. Every mode, every event, every flow. From the booth to the feed in one go. This is your AI studio. Pictor.pro. Pick your phones, let the colors glow. We're live worldwide with Pictor.pro. Pictor, Pictor. Pictor, Pictor. Hey, hey, hey. Pictor, Pictor. Hey, hey, hey. When I say Pix, you say tar, tar, tar. When I say Pictor, you say pro, pro, pro. When I say make, you say memory, 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 memory. Pictor, Pictor, AI magic at your show. Let's go. Snap it, share it, steal the scene. Pictor.pro, we power your dream. Hey, 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 hey. Pictor, Pictor, turn your moments into gold. Let's go. Every frame a story you own. Pictor.pro, bring the future home. Pictor.pro, your AI photo show. One click, let's go. Hey, Pictor.pro. Oh.
Well, that was an epic song to start us off. Hey, everybody. Hey, Chuck. Nice to see you. Hey, Rick. I'm Nicholas. I am the founder and creative director here at Pictor. For those of you who don't know me, do we have a full car ride there, Chuck? Do we have a full audience? No, you're on mute, but it's okay. Drive. It's not important. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of their afternoon to join us today. We've been doing a lot of customer support recently, and I've seen a lot of questions come in. And I thought this would be a really great time for us to open up the floor to all of you to hear if you have any specific questions or things that you wish Pictor had, things you wish Pictor did better. So it's kind of an open forum for things Pictor related or photo booth business related. So we also, well, first let me ask, does anyone have any questions to start us off? If not, I would love to go through our change log from the past few weeks, and we can also go through some of those new features. So, Rick, you sound like you got something.
Well, I do, but I don't know if we want to talk about it now or talk about it after you go through the features and stuff coming up.
Uh, I am flexible. So, what I can do here, I'm just moving some windows around, and of course, I lost my Zoom window. Where are you guys? There you are. Weird. It's hiding y'all. Okay. So let's pop through the change log real quickly, and that may bring up some questions for you folks. So let me go ahead and pull that up. And I'm not sure if y'all know this, but I was in Nashville for like 4 days, and now I'm saying y'all. I apologize to everyone. Um, I've been trying not to say the term you guys, so y'all is like an easier place to put that in for me. But so anyhow, we have recently started publishing our change log. It is down here and you can pop in. We've had a very, very busy year so far. So all of these updates are since February. We tend to push about every 2 weeks. Ideally, that's going to slow down to about once a month, other than bug fixes and hot fixes, and then quarterly. But we just keep putting out so much stuff. So the biggest thing that came out this past week has been something that people have asked for um, over the span of time, but there hasn't really been a specific use case for it. And we just had so many feature requests that we put it out. And that is the ability to have the AI output show up on screen. We had outsnapped, for those of you who don't know, I run a photo booth company, and we built Pictor for internal use, and now we license it. So at Outsnap, we live and die by numbers, which I'm assuming many of you do as well. So our goal is to get as many people through the photo booth as humanly possible in that 3 hour period, 1 hour period, whatever that event may be. If people are waiting around to see their AI output, A, we're waiting that 30-ish seconds for the image to come back down from the cloud. And B, that leaves room for, I don't like it, I want to take another. Oh my God, let me pull out my phone and take a photo of it. And now your 30 seconds in front of the photo booth has turned into 3 to 5 minutes. So that means instead of 60 people per hour, best case scenario, 90 people per hour, you're looking at 3 divided by 60, you're at 20 per hour, right? So we have never wanted to do that, though we've had a lot of people requesting it. So it is now here. That also works virtually. So that came up. And the main reason we put this out is because one of our users was in a privacy scenario with their client. And one thing I just want to pull back on, for those of you who have these conversations about privacy, it's a little bit of a minefield because the way these laws are written are intentionally vague, and that leaves it up to the individual privacy officer. So company A and company B may handle the exact same thing completely differently. And so in this particular case, and one of the ironies for me is the privacy officer is always really concerned about the email address, but not the face, which to me is a funny thing. But anyhow, they were not able to collect an email address from these event guests. So we updated the virtual booth flow so that if you do hang out there for about 30 seconds, it comes back down directly to your phone. That's the biggest release of this past week, and I can show you quickly how that works. I'm just going to stop real quickly and swap into my demo account. Does anyone have any questions or use cases for that while I'm pulling up this demo account?
No, I like that, especially for the virtual booth.
Yes. For the virtual booth, it's great. We've already had the ability to do that for non-AI in virtual. But once again, I think the
Yes.
user experience is a little bit, I think it's a little bit flawed, but there's really no way around it other than just waiting for it to come back. I just know that we in modern times can't wait for anything. I know I'm guilty of that as well. So sitting and waiting and watching your screen for 30 seconds is a difficult ask for most people.
Yeah, but I mean, as opposed to it's going to take that long before they get the text or the email anyway.
Right.
Um, and if
Agreed.
you could put something entertaining,
Yep.
during that, like an advertisement or something like that from the sponsor
Yeah.
that's paying for the virtual, something like that.
That's definitely doable. So we start processing the image before it gets to that stage anyhow. So it could, in theory, be very quick if you do have, yes, the send it up to the cloud, then there's a video that plays, then the preview is next, something like that. So good call, Rick.
Yeah.
So on this, let me just pull this up real quickly and show you all where that lives. It is this flow stage here, and of course, it is not turned on this account. Well, it should be turned on this account. Guess it did not get flagged on this test account. Let me pop into another. I have. Do all of you know about that trick where you add plus signs to your Gmail addresses and you can have multiple email addresses going to the same place? So it's like Nicholas plus blank. And so we have like test one, test two, test three, and they all have different settings on them. Let me go ahead and share again.
Yeah, take it's not rolled out to a lot of accounts yet.
So here it is, on-screen delivery. And if it hasn't hit your account yet, it will in the next week.
Okay.
And it's quite simple here for that on-screen delivery. We have title, subtitle, and body, like always, a progress bar or a spinner, and then the ability to download from that page
Result.
directly, because the whole point of this is to not send via email, right? So you got to be able to download it, and then a next or finish. So this can loop back up to the top, etc.
And it can be placed anywhere in the flow?
Yes, as long as it's after the image is taken.
Okay. All right.
So I'm on Zoom. I lost my video. Okay, I'm just going to keep going because Zoom updated and now it's moving around where our preview faces are. So I'm just going to try and smile and pretend that I see myself.
You're looking good.
Thank you. So the on-screen delivery workflow is big. We also added some more question types into prompt surveys. In the AI prompts, we've had a lot of requests for open-ended text questions. This has rolled out. I say use it sparingly. There's use cases where I think it's a good idea and use cases where I think it's a bad idea. The example I always use is I was once a teenage boy and did not act responsibly in situations where given Mad Libs, right? So just be aware of that if you're rolling something like that out. But this does give you the ability to ask someone to describe something or, describe their own artistic style or answer an open-ended question, and it'll affect that AI output. We have updated some bug fixes, the country selector notably, as well as the background in Virtual Boost. There was a small issue there. I believe, Rick, you were the one who found that bug.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's been squashed. We also have global text variables, which I'm really, really, really excited about. It doesn't sound super sexy, but if we go back over here into our global text, what this means is if you have a template or a template with a lot, sorry, if you have an event with a lot of templates or a template that you use often for multiple events. So for a wedding, for example, you can add, for example, here, couples name, uh, you know, event date. And now you can create a one-time template. And instead of going in and editing it every single time, I don't want a folder. Instead of doing that every single time, you can now use your global text here. Let's let it load up. Slow internets. Your global text field and swap that text there. So I think that that's a super, super, I think I didn't save is the issue here. Oh, this goes to answer Rick's question. No, you can't have on-screen delivery before the image is taken, so it's not letting me save that. Okay, so back here, let's save that, and then we can add a template, and I'll show you that global text. So this global text field, we have the couple's name and the event date. So this means if you have your Gatsby style wedding theme, you only need to make that template once, and you can go ahead and update that text in the global style settings in one place. There are other places where this is really great. So for example, when we roll out for you, and this one has not yet been updated, but a template like Midnight Mansion had something like, or an event, I should say, like Midnight Mansion had about 60 templates in it. So if you were to go in now and want to use this, you have to change the text in every single one of these. Whereas with the global style settings, you'd change it in one place and it would go throughout the entire event. So I think that doesn't seem super sexy, but that's one of the things that I've been most excited about recently. Something else is the ability to turn these on and off. So instead of having to remove them or delete them, you can toggle these on and come back. The example I always use for this is we've all been there where a client does not approve the first version, then it goes to version like, underscore final, final, final. And then at the 11th hour, they go, hey, actually, the first one was the best. So you just toggle it back on rather than having to rebuild everything. Any questions on either of those? No? Okay, cool. Those are the big ones as of recently. So I'll let everyone pop through these on their own at a later date and time, because I think we've covered a lot of them here. But in the meantime, I know Rick had a question. Chuck, do you have any questions? How can we help?
I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. I'm actually driving through southern Tuscany right now.
Oh, wonderful.
But no, I'm good. I'm just listening to what everyone else is doing. Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Are you on vacation or are you working?
I'm never on vacation. So I was in Venezia for the Biennale
Yep.
R26. Always like to be seeing what other people are doing and cool ways in which I can incorporate what I see into what we do.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be going to that post PBX Amsterdam. So
Oh, excellent.
let me know if you
Good,
saw
good.
anything great. Cool. Rick, let's hand the table over to you.
Okay. So my deal right now is the fact of having prompt surveys and event surveys.
Yes.
Right. And like for instance, when I'm doing like a trading card, right? On my trading cards, many times I'm using prompts. Many times I'm using the name, so first name, last name, a player number, something of that nature in the prompt itself.
Yes.
Right. But if the client wants to capture this information as well, it means that they got to enter it twice.
No, if you want to use it in two places currently, so what's your favorite number? You want that to appear on the overlay and as part of the image, then you would have to ask twice currently, but we do retain the data from the survey question in the prompt.
Oh, you do?
Yes. There is a.
Oh. But I can't use, but like you said, I can't use one prompt or whatever for the other one. So I can't use the
No.
AI prompt. Yeah.
Currently
So in other words, you still have to enter the data twice.
Yes, currently the answer is no. However, there are ways that we've looked at bringing them in together. And I think that without getting too into the weeds, moving some of the survey to the prompt and not using it in the prompt will allow us to pull that data easier than going the other direction. But it has to do with the way we architected things.
But see, I do like the fact that you're prompting in the AI itself.
Yeah.
Because there's information you're putting in there that isn't needed for another experience,
Right. Right.
right? One AI needs these three things, another AI is going to only need one.
Right.
Well, you don't want to ask for those other ones you don't need,
Yeah.
which that's what's really nice about today, the way it works. It would
Yes.
just be nice if we could like put a flag in the prompt to say, add this to the captured data.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, it's in the works. Yes, I wish it was that easy. Um, it's one of those like coulda, shoulda, woulda. If we had even conceptualized the idea of like prompts with questions a handful of years ago,
Right.
the whole thing has changed so much. But yes, it's coming. It's coming. And we I there's a few things, right? So we've set up every stage to have those like titles and subtitles so that
Mhm.
you always have a workaround ability, right? So even if a survey pops up a second time, you just frame it slightly differently with a different title or a different subtitle or some information. This is why we're asking this now. Um, so that's how we've handled things like that. It is tricky when you're like, what's your favorite number? What's your favorite number again? Or like,
Right.
tell me your
Yeah.
birthday one more time. Like we
Yeah.
want to make sure you're,
What? You didn't get it the first time?
yeah.
And then it's like the favorite number. What if they entered a different number? They said, well, I did this first. You know what? I'd rather have this one, you know.
Well, that just
I
goes to,
paste I pasted a link in the chat to a virtual event that kind of demonstrates that. That
gotcha. Would you like me to pull it up on the screen?
you can if you want. You can if
Cool.
you want.
Let me do that. Whoops. Check. I like this new feature with Zoom where if I share my screen, I can't see anyone's faces anymore. Okay, so do you want to walk us through this, Rick?
Yeah, so this is a trading card for what we can't advertise as being the World Cup,
Yeah.
but that's for it is. So essentially, uh, this is where you're going to collect the information as far as email. You're going to get first name and last name in the prompts, as well as your player number that you want to have. All this information is going on the template. And then when you get to the experience itself, you do your capture, yeah. You can select what country you want to be supporting.
Does anyone have a favorite they want to yell out? No? Okay. I will pick. I'll just be USA. I'll be boring.
It's at the top. Yeah.
Cool. So now it's that player number again.
Then it's that player number again.
And then now we've looped back up to the top.
Yep. Yep.
One thing I may recommend is one last screen at the bottom that lets people know that they have finished. Congrats, you've finished. If you want to make another, do
Yep.
X, Y,
Makes
Z.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I totally see exactly what you're saying there with that situation. We're working on it. I wish it was as easy as it seemed, but we're getting there and it's something that's on our radar. I've mentioned also that we're really in the throes of version 2.0 with real true UX UI. Very, very excited about that. Ooh, I already got my text message. Check it out. I'll drop it in the chat. With UX UI, very excited, and a bunch of other small quality of life features and some pretty big quality of life features too. So I'm excited to share those with you as they roll out. But that is what we have been working on. Okay, let me go back to sharing that screen since this came through. I'm having a ball at the big game. Great. Well, let me zoom in on this. Here I am playing soccer. I love the number, worked really well. I love the USA flags in the background. And this looks great here as well. So one of the things you've done that I really, really like is you've included the original photo. And that's one of the things that I think works really well with the baseball cards. Something else that I think is really good. This is obviously, or I shouldn't say obviously, this looks to be designed as a printable. For the online experiences, I love doing something that looks like a stack of cards. So I don't know if y'all remember what we did for, let me get there, for
Yeah.
Pictor's release.
Yeah. See, this was that one there was actually designed specifically for doing trading cards.
Yes, exactly.
So, but I fill it in with the color and everything else. So that way, when they get a digital copy, it still looks nice, right? It
Yes.
doesn't look like two little squares that's waiting to be cut out.
So this is what I love doing for a digital. So
I
you get
like that.
a shareable that looks like a playing card, and you could have them stacked on top of each other. So you have the assets, the stats showing through kind of on the side on the other.
Mhm.
Here we have two images of Eve, one on the card pack, one on the card itself, and then some implied stats. So I think it's a little bit more shareable in a full digital experience. However, obviously, if you're printing, this makes complete sense.
So, and that output is that actually generating multiple AI outputs for each one of those, or is that the same one?
I built this so long ago that I don't recall completely, but looking at it now, it looks like the eyes are slightly different.
Yeah.
So I think it is two different outputs.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And just so I understand, so you asked for the number twice because you needed it once to generate the image, and then a second time because you wanted to print it on the backside of the card.
Right. So if you
exactly.
look on the image, it's got the 06 on the image, but I also am printing it on the template.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Who was that who asked the question?
That was Louis.
Hey, Louis. I thought that was your
Hi.
voice, but I didn't see. Cool. Rick, any other questions on that?
No. On the QR code piece,
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling trying to getting the sizing of the text and the screen and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
um, to look a little bit nicer,
Sure.
and branding and stuff like that. It was like I tried doing it the first time. Well, actually, I tried doing it for the virtual the first time, and it made the picture taking area so small. And I talked to Eve, and she explained, "Oh no, just go back to the default and do it that way." And okay, yeah, I came back and it was the right size and everything else, but I was it's not clear how to really, to me, it wasn't really clear how to go and format that specific window for size,
Great. And I
right?
think that this is a really good UX UI scenario that we can walk through and talk through together. So for those of you who don't know what Rick is talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're talking about the QR code pre-sharing, right?
Correct, yes.
Cool. So we have the ability to, especially for playing cards, I love this. People can fill out their information while they're waiting in line, and then they can take the photo on the physical photo booth. The irony is they could really take it right on their phone too, but it's about that user experience on site. So we have our QR code pre-registration, which is down here. This is something else we rolled out since PBX. And it does a few things. One, it's going to immediately send you an email with that QR code as well as your ID number, because what we have found is we tell people not to lose it, and they do. So this way they have a second copy of it. So this is to customize the email that they get. And then Rick, going back to what you had asked before, this would collect that AI survey data as well.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
So now that we've enabled this, in order to make it work, we need to save. And then a reminder here, one thing that we've done at Pictor, because we also run a photo booth business and know what it means to spend a lot of money on things you don't need, we built out a way for you to have multiple different types of licenses. So you could have 5 basics and only 1 premium, for example. And so anytime you're adding a premium feature, or a pro feature, we do let you know. So that way there's no surprises on event day. So going back now into our event flow, in order to have that QR code scanner come up, we need to add that flow stage. So let's go ahead and add that. and that's the QR code scanner. And now on adding that, you'll see we have these pre-registration items have popped up. And in order for these items to be in that pre-registration, you would need to have them essentially checked off. So I'm going to go back to a pre-existing event actually that I made Midnight Mansion, just because this one has so many features in it that we'll be able to actually play with it for real versus building something. So I'm going to go ahead and save this again. I'm going to go back to my flow. And once again, you'll see here, there's none of those pre-save items. Now, if I go and add that to the top, you'll see those have popped up. So there may be a world in which you want people to agree to the terms of service before they scan their QR codes. We can put that at the top, for example. So this terms of service is now only on the physical booth. You could do it twice if you wanted, etc. So if I move it back below the QR code scanner, these come back on. And I believe your question, Rick, was boiling down to wanting to affect the size of the experience for the QR code, what happens on your own device prior to the event, right?
Correct. Yeah, like the prompting and those kind of things.
Yeah. So let me. Okay. So we can look at what this looks like here. And so you would be able to change these stages similarly, either through your global style or directly on that flow stage. So for example, terms of service, let's just say for the to do something quickly here, you could change your background color to red. The alpha is at 20. And now if I refresh this, you're going to see in this flow stage, in theory, that this comes up. Let's see what's going on here. I love when I find a bug live. Background, branding, background spread. Oh, because we have an image here, that's why. I like when it's not a bug and I'm just being a dummy, because that's one less email I have to send later. So we had in this preset the background for that specific event. Okay, come on. Now I'm feeling silly. Let's check one more time. Terms of service, branding, background. Why did you? So we may have done both. I may have been a dummy and found a bug. Yeah, look at that. So let's go ahead and change this image and see if that works here. So save, let me check.
Now you can do different images for different, like a phone, tablet, and
Yes.
computer screen, right?
Yep.
All right.
So this looks like something that I'm gonna have to talk to the team about because it seems to be reverting back to that image and I'm not entirely sure why. My hunch is that the QR code scanner may be doing something with that. Let us try. I don't want to live troubleshoot this. So let me try one last thing. And then we will take this back to the bug department and get it squashed for you. So we have a new release for you next week. Yeah, I'm going to talk to the team about that. But yes, in theory, when it goes into these, I'll remove this just so we can do that. You can go into your global style settings and change the background for, yes, every single different device. So for example, I could have something tall and skinny on the phone, something wide on a tablet, and then something else on a computer. And so when I pop back over here, let's wait for that to save. In theory, this should have changed backgrounds now. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. This is a very old preset, so there may have been some change that's happened there. Let me go back to a new event that I'd set up, and we'll just run this through real quick. So the background, you can, yes, have one for each different size. It will put it in all three, and then you can go and modify the individuals. And when I save this, you'll see now that has changed in the background. So that is how it's supposed to work. We'll have to look into what was messing that up. I suspect it is the QR stage. So what you may have been experiencing may have been more of a bug than we thought, Rick. So I apologize for that.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool. Louis, I know you had some questions. I saw some stuff come through the support channel. Anything that you've been working on that you'd like to share or have questions about?
Yeah, and thank you. So, one of the things that we're kind of excited about, we haven't done it yet live, but it was coming up soon, is the ability to do a virtual booth where we throw the QR code for the booth up on a big screen,
Yes, love
so
it.
where it can be seen by hundreds or more people at once.
Yep.
And so, that seems like a fun thing for. So, we've been designing some different things for some clients, and even just kind of for our own marketing as well. But one of the things we ran into is that if the user enters their email and says, "I want email delivery," and if that email is a Yahoo mail address,
Mhm.
they can often experience significant delays in getting the email from Pictor. And from what I understand from talking to your support and from doing some additional research, it's really mostly at Yahoo's end. It
Yeah,
sounds
it's a pretty,
because what could
sorry, finish your thought.
okay, so yeah, so because when I look at your sessions screen on the event session screen,
Yeah.
it shows me that the AI image was generated within a minute or two, but it's often anywhere from 30 minutes to 30 hours later that the email shows up in the user's Yahoo inbox.
Yes, and I had eyes on this as well because I thought it was really interesting. I don't use Yahoo anymore personally, but I think it is funny to offer an email service where they openly say we're going to deliver your email to you within 72 hours, which is essentially what the support documentation was saying. So on our side, when we dig deep into our logs, it's showing as received. It's not showing as opened or clicked, right? Which would make sense because it's being received by Yahoo and they're not passing it through. We have, since you reached out, also put in some tickets with Yahoo to see if there's anything around that we can do. However, it's a weird sort of like hurry up and wait zone where it's like until the domain is accepted by them, the delivery is slow. But then if there's too many deliveries from that domain, the delivery also gets slow. Their support documentation was very like, we're not going to help slash it's a black box scenario. But we did sign up for their like approved URL list. So I'd be interested to keep an eye on that for the next few weeks to see if we see any changes there. But they said it could be up to 3 months before they respond.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
other
so
thing,
it's just a concern because
yeah,
again you're throwing up that QR code in front of
yeah,
hundreds of people, and maybe 10% of them may be Yahoo Mail users,
yeah,
and and they're going to contact us because they're going to say, "Where's my email? I didn't get it."
yep,
And maybe the
100%.
on-screen delivery part helps that, but maybe not. But
Yeah, I mean, you can do both, right? So you could definitely collect the email address for yourself, deliver via email, and as a safeguard, have that on-screen delivery. Yeah,
mhm.
100%. So that's a good workaround for that, actually. The other thing with that I think is really interesting is like, we send it through Mail Tester, which is like an industry standard system for testing. And I do recommend people use that if you're ever putting a bunch of text into your images or have a subject line. We've had clients give us subject lines that you just look at it and you're like, that looks spammy. And if you run it, it gives you valid data to give back to your client that says like, this subject line is going to get flagged by Gmail almost every time. So that's a really useful tool for anyone who doesn't know. It's mail slash dash Tester.com, I believe. Let me just pull it up.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
I'll
did
drop that
send a
in the
couple
chat.
through there, and you're getting scores, 9.2 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 on the email. So yeah, Mail Tester thinks it's great,
Yeah,
but again, I
yeah.
entered into it only because two of our business partners happen to use
Oh,
Yahoo
cool.
Mail as their personal email primary,
Of
so we kept
course.
running into it during our testing.
Yeah, of course. And of course, it's going to be your biggest client who is using it, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it is on the Yahoo side. There's like literally nothing we can do because, like you said, we're way above industry standard for deliverability. So,
Mhm.
but yes, we are keeping an eye on it. We have an ongoing ticket to just, test. Ironically, in order to, or not so ironically, in order to sign up to have an approved URL, we had to register a Yahoo email address, which they then send you correspondence through. So now I have an email address to test it with because we needed to register that Yahoo address.
Mhm.
Cool. So yes, keep an eye on it. Let us know if you see any movement. We will do the same as well. But yeah, I know we went far
Okay.
and wide on that. Unfortunately, that's a Yahooism. Cool. And folks who have not yet shouted out, we have Kayla, we have Glam360 Montreal. I'm assuming someone from Montreal. Any other questions from folks?
Real quick,
Yeah.
what's the best way to get that QR code copy out?
So do you get the what?
I mean, it's like how to get the QR code, the image, other than doing like a screen copy or something of that
Yeah.
nature.
So there,
Because if you do a right click on it, it's not an image. So
yeah. We've done that on purpose. It seems counterintuitive. We recommend always using a tool where you can change the endpoint for your printed QR codes. So that way, if you ever have to change your event, you can swap out the QR code. So
so
you,
basically you're taking the URL and create new ones,
sorry, one more time.
your own.
Yeah, I
So you're
would
basically
recommend,
taking the URL
yeah,
and using whatever to create your own QR code.
that's my recommendation. I know Tiny URL has one. There's a bunch of free ones out there. I think you could probably even do it with ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
But this way it saves you because we've had people who haven't yielded that advice and they've printed signs and then at the 11th hour they have to change their event and there's no way to get the URLs to link up. It's really, if you're doing an email campaign or you're testing on your phone, that's really kind of what it's for.
That's what that's for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So that's something maybe we could look into in the future is that having a standalone like QR code generator. It just,
Yeah. As long as I know
yeah.
how,
Yeah, that's my recommendation. That's my recommendation kind of with anything you ever get printed anyways. I know we do it, for example, for our Pictor banners and we do different events. We change the endpoint of, it's one Pictor banner with a QR code and we can change the endpoint of that QR code year after year to go to different places, which I think is super helpful. I can't remember the one that we use off the top of my head because there's so many of them, but I think it was like, it's like $7 a year and you have up to 50 QR codes or something. So I can,
some of them have analytic tracking on it, which is
yeah,
nice too.
this has that, which is a great thing to share with clients as well. And Louis, if you're doing that, I would recommend that as well, because you'll get to be able to tell your client how many people scanned the QR code up on the screen, and you'll also be able to see the drop off between people who scan and people who don't complete, things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. I'll send a link out in the recap to the one that we use, and I like. There's a million of them there out there, so I'm sure there's better and worse options too. Cool. We've got about 10 minutes left. Any other questions? No? Okay, let's shift over to wish list. I know Rick has kept us busy with his wish list, most of which are, could you please fix this bug, which I think are fair, and also some other really great ideas. Anyone else on the call have any
I'm going
requests?
to point out one that was really good if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one was the capability to duplicate a prompt, the AI prompt.
Yes.
That one is awesome.
And do you know who else loves that? our dev team because I stopped emailing them or messaging them and be like, hey, I know you're busy doing other things. Can you duplicate this prompt for me? So yes, it's one of
I
those.
think I think I talked to Eve on Thursday, and by Friday, your development team had it
Yeah.
working.
Because
So that
that's
was
like an
great.
ongoing thing. It's like, something that I always poo-pooed is context switching. Because when I was younger, I was able to do it so easily. And as I get older, I don't know if it's my brain is old, I have more on my mind, I don't know what it is. But if I get pulled out of something and I'm like deep in it, it's really hard for me to get back into other things. So that's one of the things that we're always giving each other a hard time about is context switching on the dev side. It's like I give them a deadline to do something, and then I'm like, hey, could you do these 12 other things? So I think that was like one of those a customer asking for it really justified us stop being silly. So, and I think that they were really happy to do it because we do ask them those kinds of things a lot. So
Yeah, that was great. Well, tell them great job.
will do. And so for anyone else who isn't familiar with that, let me just show you real quick what we're talking about. Let me pop into a demo account. And quite simply, when you're doing or creating a custom prompt, they can get pretty complicated. So now, thanks to Rick pushing us to do it, we have the ability to go into our custom prompts here. And so like, for example, in this pet example we made together, there's a bunch of different questions, right? So you don't want to necessarily do this over and over again. Or in the example that Rick shared with us, how many of those countries did you have in there?
I don't know, but I think there's 40 or 50.
Gotcha. I keep getting corrected by the Europeans on our team about how many countries are in the World Cup. In my head, everybody in the world should be able to be in the World Cup. But apparently, Eva, I'm calling on you. How many people is it? 26, 46, 48?
Uh, 26, but you're catching me off guard here. I'm not sure. I need
Okay,
to recheck. So I
gotcha.
think 26.
Gotcha.
Not every team qualifies.
Gotcha. But the
Well,
beauty of the fact
I
that
can,
can't, sorry, is someone else calling out?
yeah, no, it's 48 entries
48
was in
entries.
that.
Great.
48.
So we now have the ability to take this prompt and simply duplicate it. So it will retain everything that you have here. This is also great for versioning. There is interestingly versioning built into a prompt, but this is another level of versioning. So for example, we have all of these other versions and we can revert to using this prompt here or this thumbnail. And so if you go back into like any of these examples here, they have all of the versions that you've ever created, as well as your generated previews for each of these.
So is that what that use prompt settings does?
Yes. So if you go back into like, I'm trying to find one that has like a bunch of sessions in it. Okay. So there's two things here. There is set thumbnail, which is what controls what goes as the thumbnail. And then there's
Right.
prompt settings. So for example, if I'm in here and I'm iterating and iterating, and I ultimately think that the one I did third was the best, I go back and I can use those prompt settings. And that will update what's on the left. So you have versioning on all of those. Yeah.
Nice. So every
Yeah.
time you do a generate, it's a version.
Yes. Yep. It's all versioned.
Sweet.
And
Sweet.
we chose to show it through the images themselves because it's a lot easier to pick out what looks like
Oh
your
yeah.
test subject. So for example, here you'll see if I use this thumbnail, we're going to change that system wide to this thumbnail. Or we could use these prompt settings. And when I click this, you'll see everything on the left change here. Or parts of it on the
Oh
left
wow.
change.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
So something to keep in mind on this, and this is something that it's sort of like 50% want it one way, 50% want it the other way. And I'm on both of those camps depending on the day. When you put a prompt into an event, it retains the prompt from that day. or from that moment, I should say. So for example, if I have a pre-existing prompt that's using the original thumbnail or the original prompt settings, and then I save this, I have to go into that event and update it if I want it to be updated. The reason that we've done this, and then one of the things that's nice about us having access to our own proprietary models and things, is that we can freeze things in time. So if Rick spends 40 hours tuning something and then we release a new model the next day, Rick's prompt is going to exist as he left it in perpetuity, which I think is something that's really important in versioning. In order to do that, what that means, though, is that you have to go and update manually in your events to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Louis, anything on your wish list?
Yeah, and I'll see if I can explain it quickly. So when I'm editing an event, and and typically I'll have a template, and on top of it, I'll have an AI output, and on top of that, I'll have an overlay, right? So kind of like all the three boxes on top of each other.
Okay, hold on.
Um,
Let me go and just let's talk through
yeah,
this step by step so I can follow and everybody else can get a little lesson too. Okay, going into choose experience, template editor. Okay, pick it up.
so yeah, you add a template, you pick a shape,
Mm-hmm.
and you add it onto the screen.
A capture.
Sorry, capture. Thank you. Yeah,
Yep.
sorry. Yes. And then typically on top of that, you're putting, and maybe I'm getting the terms wrong, but you're putting maybe an AI output on top of that.
Okay, so you want to add an AI image to
Yeah,
it.
yep. Thank
Yep.
you. So
And
that
it's
goes
good
on
to
top
hear
of your
how everybody
capture.
else talks about these things too, because we have terminology. Like one of the things we always struggle with is like token is
Yeah.
a technical coding term, and it's also what we call our credits for AI, right? So, but
Mhm.
go on, Louis.
Yep. Okay. So yeah. So then you select the prompt and you put your AI on top of your capture, right?
So there's a few ways you can do this. You can
There.
add up to four outputs from that. You can also show or
Right.
hide the original.
Yeah. Typically, I'm only doing one,
Okay, so there's one here. Okay, so we have the original on the left and the
and
AI.
it goes on top.
Yep. So do you want to cover this?
And then there's usually an overlay on top of the AI output, to
Okay.
be an image.
Do you want the original capture to show or not show?
I don't think I need it to show. In most
Okay.
of my cases, I'm not sure.
So
Maybe eventually I will, but so
if
far
that's the
I'm not.
case, I would turn off the show original. It's one less thing to deal with.
Okay.
And also it's going to be a little bit faster on the compute because believe it or not, we will take that image, process it, put it behind something, make
Oh
sure you
yeah.
can't see it and stack it, right? So, okay, so now we have our AI output.
So then you stick an overlay on top of that. Just
Yep,
an image, I suppose, right?
yep.
You add an image. Here's the thing is after I've had my overlay on top of this, then if I need to go back and pull it, change my prompt because I'm testing, and I need to go back and pull in the new version of the prompt into this, I have to kind of just keep resizing everything back smaller again so that I
Okay.
can get to the right level. Does,
Yes,
does that
there's an
make
easier.
sense?
Yes. Once again, that's like one of those like 50% want to do it one way, 50% want to do it another way. What I would show you how to do
Hmm.
there is hit this layers button, go into your
Yeah, I
hidden
saw that.
layers because capture one, we hid it. If it wasn't hidden, it would just be down at the
Mhm.
bottom. Select
Right.
this, and now it brings that up, and you can just change your prompt without having to touch anything on the right. If you,
Without having to reshape it with resize any
yeah,
windows.
yep.
Okay,
That,
yeah, I've never seen the hidden. I've never noticed the hidden part before.
yeah, so well, if you're not hiding your original, see it's showing here just hidden. And if I go into my layers, capture one is here. And something else, you can also rename these. So this could be the photo,
Yeah.
and you can color code them if you want, etc. So, and then in this case, once again, I didn't have an overlay handy, so I'm just going to put this on the top of this other image. right? So now to change the AI, I could either,
Hmm.
move things around and get to that other one, or I can go to layers. In this case, the photo. I can hit the little gear and then I can
Okay.
select and change my prompt.
Okay. Yeah, and that was one thing I had to learn as well was that when you save this in your event, it saves that version of the prompt. It doesn't say if I go back and change my prompt later, it doesn't dynamically update in this.
Exactly. That's what we were just discussing is in order for us to be able to lock your prompt in place. So for example, you've been working on these not FIFA prompts, right? And I know
Right.
you've been putting in hours and hours of work. If you did that and then we released a new model tomorrow, it would undo everything you've done. So
Yeah.
we freeze those in time. So yes, you do need to come back to your template and update it in order to see those changes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's really been and so it's really just a learning curve thing for me is just learning
Totally.
how to re-pull in that AI prompt, the new version of the AI prompt without having to move things around.
100%. And the same thing goes even in the simple flow to heads up. If you
Okay.
change something in your prompt, you do need to come back and reselect it.
Reselect it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But I will say, different vendors are handling that differently. Some are just dynamically updating the prompt. They're always pulling in the newest version of the prompt. If you change it.
Yeah. And I think, as someone who runs a photo booth company, I could just think how tragic that would be if I got to an event and someone else changed something to an event that was
Mhm.
already approved.
Yeah.
So I think that once again, a lot of folks do things one way and it doesn't necessarily make sense from a business perspective or a use case perspective. But if that's how you've learned, obviously, there's unlearning or relearning that has to happen there. We do, we're very open to being wrong, but most of our decisions are informed by what is going to make it easiest for you on event day, the least amount of
Mhm.
stress, and then what on the back end do we have to do to accomplish that, right? So that's exactly the trade-off here is, excuse me, you have to trade off the ease of updating the event in order to have it locked in time to be the perfect thing that you expect to get on show day. So,
All right, great. Thank you.
yep, awesome. Cool. Well, that brings us to just about an hour. I have a few extra minutes if anyone has anything. Rick, Kayla, Louis?
If anybody wants to try out that virtual, they can.
Awesome. Yeah, the link is in the chat that Rick shared. So if anyone would like to try that, that would be awesome. You can see what you look like as a soccer player that's not in the World Cup. Great. And we just had Roland join us now, right on time. So maybe Roland has our last question. Hey, Roland, welcome to the last minute of the webinar, the show and tell. But you're right on time because I said we have 5 extra minutes if anyone has a question, and everyone said they don't. So, Roland, the floor is yours if you have a question.
Quick question. Sorry, I was trying to get another meeting here.
Oh, no worries.
But the virtual experiences for like World Cup, what do you have available?
Well, we have nothing licensed by the World Cup, but Rick,
No, not licensed for the World Cup, but the experience that I mean, I say World Cup mean that the soccer's biggest game, not World Cup licensing wise, but
gotcha.
in terms of a virtual boot option for those that want to do some kind of soccer theme.
Yeah, so we have no pre-existing themes available. We could, in theory, create some if that's a request for folks, but we have lots of clients, Rick being one and Louis being another, who are both on this call, who have been, excuse me, creating really incredible, not only events for clients, but also promotional events for their own companies around it and sharing those via virtual. So Rick just shared earlier today, and if he feels comfortable, he can share the link again in the chat with you, Roland, with what he's created. And it is,
Cool. Yeah.
and it will also be in the recap of this video. But in his you select your team and you put in your player number and it creates a playing card. At OutSnap, we've designed something similar as well that we're sending to our clients. But if there is a request for a soccer player, that's definitely something that we could create a pre-existing prompt for.
I put one in there for the fan experience as well.
Cool. Awesome.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Roland, have you worked with the Pictor's custom prompts or anything yet?
Not yet. It's on my list this week to navigate.
Sounds good. Well, support will be there to help you if you need it. And I'm assuming you're wanting to do AI outputs and not just soccer themed borders and stuff.
I'm looking at both options. Just saw a few clients who are exploring that option right now. So I just want to have some options for them to look at.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, so feel free to hit us up in the support channels and we can help you through that. As always, thank you all for joining. And Roland, do you have any other questions? I know you just got here, so I don't want to cut you short.
No, all good. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. Well,
No, all good. And Rick and team, appreciate the sampling to look at.
Gotcha. Thanks, Nicholas.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
I appreciate you spending part of your afternoon with us. It's very meaningful. And what I always sign off with is I can't wait to see what you create. Roland, I'm putting you on the spot, you especially, because you sound like you have a mission, so I'm going to check in with you. But thank you, everyone, and we will see you. I'm out next Wednesday, so in 2 Wednesdays, I will see you all. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.